Hello, everyone. Welcome to SportsBeat on WOUB. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm your host, Jack Zwiezinski, and with me at the desk is
Logan Adams,
Conor Mallonn,
Kasey Hill,
Stephen Koroly.
For today's hour-long episode, we have plenty of news surrounding Ohio Bobcat sports, so strap in and get your green or white ready. Our topics begin with men's and women's basketball continues to heat up against some important MAC opponents. The softball season's in full swing with the Chattanooga Classic. The baseball team gets a much-needed win in a new era. Our quick hits and read and react segments, and ending with the Olympics and the Cavs following the All-Star break. SportsBeat starts right now. Welcome back to the table, guys. We begin with OU men's basketball, which the main story from the Bobcats this past weekend was, of course, losing to the undefeated Miami RedHawks in Oxford. So, Steven, what happened in this game?
Yeah, so obviously looking at it on OU's side, in the start of this game, it looked like, a rivalry game, battle of the bricks. This is going to be tight. OU attacked the basket. I thought they got a lot of production offensively from going to, Simmons when he gets an offensive rebound or, just a lot of attacking, getting to the rim. But Pav got to it as well. I mean, that man was hitting fader after fader in the mid-range. It was ridiculous to see. I thought I was watching an NBA game for a second. But 52% from the field in the first half for Ohio, that's not bad at all. That's pretty good. And Miami actually shot a very slightly worse 50% in the first half. They were obviously up, but the wheels fell off in the second half for Ohio. Miami 50%, 9 of 18 from three overall in this game, just ridiculous. 52% from the field. So they really kept up their offense from the first half. And OU 47% from the field overall, not bad at all, but just 23.8%, 5 of 21 from three. So, you cannot expect to be a top 25 team, especially when you shoot less than 25% from three and only score 74 points. 5 different players also entered double-digit scoring for Miami, while OU only had 2 players enter double digits, Pav and Javon Simmons. So, the question really is, why won't this team contend with, Miami, Akron, Toledo, Kent State? This team, unlike Miami, they don't have an identity. Miami, they can score the ball from so many different players at so many different spots. They move the ball so well. 1 minute, it's, they're coming down the floor. It's a hezzy pull-up from three. You're not expecting it. And then they're moving the ball constantly, and they're finding a wide-open layup. And, it's really any level of scoring, they got it, and they have it from a different player in each spot. And it culminates together all in their offense. Whereas with Ohio, I feel like we get reliant too much on one player, whether it's Pav in the mid-range, Hadaway constantly driving to the rim, trying to get buckets, Sheldon getting hot like we relied on against ODU, I think it was. And it never all, comes together in one singular spot for this Ohio team on offense. They're too inconsistent. And, they show greatness in short spurts, but it's never sustained long enough to win big games.
You got to really give credit to OU for showing up in the first half. And like you said, Stephen, it wasn't really until the second half where the wheels fell off the bus. There were flashes where OU was kind of losing their step at the end of the first half. But I also really need to make the point that Millett Hall is in an incredibly difficult stadium to play in. The ceiling is really low, and they packed that place in. There were over 10,000 students in there against OU, and they were getting in players' heads. They were not afraid to call out a missed bucket, and you could see on the court that players were just, very clearly rattled by that.
That's the biggest thing that I noted from the game, and I've talking to managers who I have classes with and who I'm friends with, they couldn't hear each other sitting right next to each other on the bench when it got loud in there. And the other thing that Steven mentioned is just how versatile this Miami team is. All 5 starters score double-digit points per game and shoot 50+% from the field. It's a difficult team to guard because you don't know who to plan for any given night. It could be Luke Skaljack hitting threes. It could be Brant Byers going 5 of 9 from 3. It could be Peter Suter just taking over and dropping 37 like he did against Buffalo.
Yeah, you need to play perfect against Miami to beat them, and you need everyone to be locked in because you never know who's going to be the weapon that night.
I was going to say, it's hard for playing against Miami because, like you said, they have 5 guys who can just go off, whereas with Ohio, if you kind of tend to, we see focus on Pav, you know, Aiden Hadaway, AJ Sheldon, and if you can kind of hold those guys down, there's not a lot else kind of, or nobody else really stepping up to that level, whether it just be scheme, just effort, kind of dedication put in, or just there's not enough going on, they're not getting enough time, something like that. But yeah, I mean, they trailed in the first half very cleanly. They kind of disrupted them from three, which is what I at least wanted to see. It was just, in that second half there, it kind of, like you had said, the wheels fell off a little bit, and they just kind of went. But, I mean, how do you guys think that Ohio can start to show that consistency that's kind of lacking at the moment?
I really feel like it all starts with, stringing together good offensive possessions one at a time. I mean, it's just you have to be patient and wait for the best possible shot. There's so many times where I see the offense getting stalled, whether it's, Aiden Hadaway waiting too long in the post to get, a fader or, a quick spin or something like that. It's not working out. We just took up half the shot clock, right? Or, we're looking for one particular shot and we're not getting it, and we're not looking for the other open areas of the floor. I just feel like it's, really finding the best possible shot and then continuing to build on that possession after possession.
I think there's just like a lack of consistent secondary or tertiary options, and I think it starts at the bench too. Really, nobody has kind of made their name as that sixth man, come in, instant offense kind of guy. You'd think it'd be Dior Connors. He was a sniper for Appalachian State last year. He's really been struggling to find a shot. Jesse Burris is a guy who's shown flashes, can't really hit a shot either. And then Kier Kawani comes in, makes plays every now and again, but his leash just seems to be shorter with Jeff Bowles than it arguably should be. And so you're looking at just short leashes on the bench in general, and that leads to heavy reliance on guys like Pav, and then Aiden and Javen to come in and do their thing.
I mean, we've both been in post-game pressers where Jeff Bowles has said he will get into a position where he will just choose to start the starters and leave them in for extended periods of time, and will only rotate one guy in, two guys in, very short stints. And even then, you're stressing so many individuals to perform at a high level that eventually you just can't sustain that level of play, because when you're focusing on one player to drop that 30, drop that 40, and to save your team, it's just not going to happen. And you get to this point in the season that the Bobcats are at, and you're watching the team sort of slowly lose that momentum, especially when you want to see them building it.
Yeah, it's kind of back to what we've been harping on all season, especially with the short leashes and things like that. But on a better note for Ohio, they got a much-needed win against Ball State on Tuesday, 69-57. What changed from their previous performance against Miami?
So, they definitely benefited from not playing a top 25 team in the nation at their place, like we've said. But OU was better in this game, I will say. After not shooting the three ball well against Miami, Pav, he was 1 for 5 against Miami. He got inside a ton this game, really got to, what he knows works and what he knows he can score in his offensive game. He finished with 18 points, 7 of 16, only shot 1 3-pointer. He missed it. But he also threw 6 times. And, watching him on the floor, he is just such an elite playmaker. His vision is just out of this world. He can throw skip passes to the corner, quick bounce passes in the pick and roll. It's just so much fun to watch him. And then I think that Ball State really, they were cold in this game. 40% from the field, 28% from three. There was long stretches where they really couldn't get it going. Aiden Hadaway, also an improved game, 3 of 5 from three, something you really need on this Bobcats team, and 6 of 11 from the field for a cool 18 points. Just way more efficient, way more efficient, I guess I would say. But I would also be lying, though, if I didn't say some of these stretches, they looked like 3 p.m. at Ping. 69 points, it just isn't enough for me, especially when you need to win big games coming up, going into the MAC tourney and everything, trying to get good seeding. The ball doesn't rotate fast enough on offense. Just need to figure out something in this last stretch of games here.
And with that, we kind of shook up some conference standings. I mean, what are those looking like? What is Ohio going to have to do? Who's clinched recently? How do these games matter for conference standings?
Yeah, the top of the pack have definitely separated themselves. Miami, Akron, Kent State all clinched. In the past week, Akron and Kent State have both clinched, and they've been hot. I mean, Zips have an 11-game win streak, and Golden Flashes sit at a 4-game win streak, giving us 3 total MAC bids clinched with about 4 to 5 games left for all the teams in the conference. And so Ohio can be the next team as the Bobcats can clinch this upcoming Saturday if Ohio beats NIU, who is in 9th, along with Central Michigan losing to Western Michigan. And both NIU and Central sit at 4 and 9, which is outside of our top 8 graphics that we are showing. So Ohio is pretty much sitting at a win and you're in scenario for this NIU game. So huge game there. And then it looks like the top 3 seeds pretty much locked up who those teams are: Miami, Akron, Kent. 3 games separate 3rd and 4th place. Ohio's options are becoming limited here, but I would think that you would just want to, maintain a 4 or 5 seed unless you want to get stuck playing against one of the top 3 in round 1, which is a tall task.
Yeah. So Ohio needs to lock in for that last stretch of the season. Then, what do they need to look out for and execute to take their next game?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talk about the NIU game, which is the next one coming up, a massive game. And, they're going to have to do a lot of what we talked about, just a couple minutes ago. But NIU, definitely a capable team, but a team that Ohio should take down. They just won their last game at 8th place Buffalo, 72-70. That's a big win. But they only scored 46 points on Valentine's Day against 8-18 Central Michigan. So, we'll see what team we're getting there with NIU. And but this team will be motivated to win. They're on the bubble for the MAC tourney. They'll be looking to Gianni Cobb in this one. He dropped 23 in the win against Buffalo and at NIU. And we know Ohio doesn't play the best on the road, so gonna have to pick it up a little bit more than they usually do.
Yeah, and then that game against NIU is crucial, but we get a fun playoff glimpse with that next game. Who are they facing?
Toledo, the Rockets, a team that Jeff Bowles, really has not done well against in his tenure at Ohio. I'm not sure the exact numbers, but I know he hasn't won at Savage Arena. Luckily, this game is in Ohio, in Athens. But this is a big one in terms of MAC standings, with OU 8-6 in 4th place, while Toledo 7-6 in 5th place, so neck and neck there. If the season was over today, these two teams would play each other in the first round. But the last meeting between the two on January 13th, 101-85 Toledo W. So a ton of points for Toledo in that win. But at the same time, 85, a lot for this Ohio team. So they can score on that Toledo defense, but they're going to have to limit players like Sonny Wilson and Leroy Blyden Jr., who combined for 49 points in the last meeting against the Bobcats. Both these teams hungry for a W. It should be a fun one.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this, especially this Toledo game. I think this is going to be such a fun game. Now transitioning, women's basketball has split their last 2 games, a tough loss at home and a huge win on the road. Logan, break down last week for me.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to start with that Kent State recap. Just a really interesting and telling win for Ohio, 71-61. Proves this 9-4 MAC play. Now they're in a win-and-end situation tonight, which we'll get to. But currently sitting at 5th in the MAC and just a game and a half behind 3-seed UMass. Ellie Garnett led the way with 19. She's been super good recently, 15 or more in 3 of her last 5, 10 or more in 4 of the last 5. Bit of a fouling problem overall for the team, Garnett especially. She's fouled out 5 times this season, just 1 game with 0 fouls, but that's might just be a byproduct of how this team plays, and you saw it against Toledo. Or Kent State, my apologies. But you saw it there. Everybody was fouling. Sometimes you go for the steals. This team is really good at just getting in passing lanes, but sometimes that just leads to kind of those aggression fouls.
Yeah.
They also shot 43 threes in this game. I don't know if that's a season high. It feels like it.
Wow.
I think that seems like a season high. 43 is... Yeah, they shot 70 field goals.
only 30% on those threes. Ellie Garnett did a lot of heavy lifting there, went 5 of 10. Bailey Tabling, who's been kind of a sporadic, streaky, but ultimately Ohio's leading scorer, 0 for 12 from 3 in this most recent performance.
And for context for the people at the table, she shot 16 field goals.
3 of 16, I believe,
She
right?
went 3 of 16. Yeah, 0-12 from 3.
How did they win?
Just really physical. Ellie Garnett had a ton of really good moments, and it was just ultimately like I think he had like 3 or 4 double-digit scores in this game. Just came out on top with a kind of even shakier performance from Kent State.
Yeah, they had Ellie Garnett, Bailey Tabling, and then Monica Williams all put up 10-plus points with some nice help from the bench there, 8, 5, 6. And I mean, that happens, though. I almost wonder if we're going to see a spike in fouls coming up just with how the team can get in passing lanes and the aggression that they can show sometimes. If you're playing a team and you need to come out and be aggressive, especially with how they play, you're going to see an uptick in fouls. I mean, that's just like the nature of the game there.
100%. And especially from somebody like Garnett, who's one of the bigger players in the backcourt, she is kind of that enforcer role. Tabling gets in the passing lanes all the time. She leads the team in steals, over 2 a game. But it's just going to be like kind of a byproduct. I don't know how much of an issue it's going to be, but this team's identity is in physical defense and shooting a lot of threes. Sometimes they live and die by that. This time they lived when they probably should have not.
When it works, it works. When it doesn't, oh boy, does it not work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, it was definitely an interesting game. Telling, but Bob Bolden just continues to get it done under just the strangest circumstances.
And now, actually, the women's team's playing as of right now.
Yeah, like we mentioned, winning in, it is not looking great so far. Akron leads 26-14 at the end of the first, and this is the 9th seed in the MAC, I believe. Ohio outranks them pretty cleanly, and in a win-and-in situation, you're not really scared of losing this one, but you'd much rather just rip that Band-Aid off, get in the tournament as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, the faster that you can just clinch up that spot, the better you are. You can kind of almost not coast, but almost coast through the rest of the season. You're not fighting for that playoff spot. And I mean, you kind of mentioned it with the 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
I mean, what does this team need to do from 3 that they're not already to kind of help them clinch? Anything like that?
I think you just hit more shots. Honestly, you just roll the dice and you hope that you get a couple more 6s and 5s than you do 1s and 2s. Currently against Akron, they're shooting 3 of 12 from 3 in the first quarter, on pace to shoot 48 threes.
I like that. I like that number a lot.
I mean, it would break their season high threes from. It was so I went and looked it up. 43 is the most threes they shot, which broke the previous season high of 41. Like, they're consistently shooting 30, 35, pushing 43s a game. They are absolutely living by the 3 and dying by the 3.
Yeah, and I believe so. 3 of 13 now. Actually, they just shot another one as we are speaking. Bailey Tabling has made all 3 of their 13 threes. She's 3 of 5 right now, but it's really the only thing happening for Ohio right now is just her. As there's only been one more made field goal. That is Gigi Bauer off the bench.
Yeah, we'll have to keep on at least checking the score while we're recording, then tune in after. We'll move on as next the women's team is facing the final stretch and Dream of Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
What will they need to do against BG?
They can't take it lightly. This Bowling Green team has no identity on offense. They have 2 double-digit scorers. Leading the way for them, Paige Kohler and Jania Donahue. I want to shout out Donahue specifically. She is 4th in the nation in steals per game, getting 4 every single game. Not too much in the way of offense. As I mentioned, they shoot under 40% from the field as a team, under 30% from 3 as a team. But they rank 2nd in the MAC in steals and 2nd in the MAC in blocks. You can't take this team lightly. If you're going to miss shots, you're going to give them a chance to pull ahead. And you got to just stay stable in the turnover economy. This is as it's looking against Akron right now, this will be a win-and-in situation as well. So you just can't take this one lightly, and you got to try and secure your ticket to Cleveland as soon as possible.
And now in the MAC, how's everything kind of shaken out after the past week or so? What are we looking at here?
We actually now have half the MAC tournament spots clinched. UMass clinched it against Miami, beating them on a buzzer beater, which knocked Miami from 11-0 to 11-1, allowing Ball State to take that 1 seed. Central Michigan did the same, getting that crucial 10th win to find their way in. And Bowling Green, who Ohio is looking to keep at arm's length later this week, scratching, trying to keep their way in, just a game and a half or a game above the 9th seed right now.
Yeah, I'd highlight an arm's length away with BG. This type of defense, I see it as more concerning for the Bobcats as somebody that just dropped easily 80, 90 points because they don't do well in the paint, and I think that's why they shoot so many threes. Outside the arc, the chemistry kind of drops, and I worry about a team that is so strong in steals.
Agreed, 100%. You're rolling the dice. You're gambling. Literally, when you go for that many steals, you're trying to get in passing lanes, trying to screw up offense. Just by stealing one possession, you can screw up the kind of flow. But it's a gamble that Ohio takes, and a lot of teams have just gotten hot from three against them because they're missing on rotations, going for steals, and it's plagued them at times, but most of the time it's led to wins, and they currently sit 9-4. So it's working to a degree. You live and you die by it, and they've lived more than they've died.
So we'll just have to hope that in these next few games they continue to live by it. Now, softball just had another strong invitational at the Chattanooga Classic in Chattanooga, Tennessee, winning 3 of 4. Kasey, what worked out for Ohio?
Yeah, so that's going to be 3 of 4 games, like you said. There actually was a 5th game against Bellarmine, but it was canceled due to weather conditions.
Weather.
I know. So you asked what went well. The pitching was much, much better, and that was my concern last week, but they locked in there. So first game, they beat Kinesis 11-4 in 5 innings. Notice my patterns here, guys. No errors. Junior Keegan Moore led pitching in this one, 5 innings, 3 strikeouts, which is a huge improvement on the mound from last weekend. The Bobcats were actually down 0-2 in the first inning, but they climbed back to a 5-2 lead in the second inning with 2 homers, one being a 3-run homer from Mickey Leaving and Kylie Gorsuch, respectively, and a single from Bell Hummel. So the offense rolls consistently, like we say. Freshman Sienna Smith hit her first home run in the top of the 4th. So strong game there. They'll split the series with Chattanooga 7-1 in 7 innings, and then 3-8 in 7 innings again. No errors though, so that's great.
Yeah, I'm seeing a trend.
We're seeing a trend. Junior Shelby Wessler and senior Colleen Bear, 2 girls we didn't talk about last episode, but they deserve some spotlight today. Both went 3 for 3 at the plate with 1 run for themselves, and Wessler had 2 of her 3 hits being doubles with an RBI as well. Skip Miller is back, baby. We touched last week about her unusual weak performance at the mound. Yes, everybody get excited.
That's what I like to hear. You kept going, so I didn't want to drown
applause.
you out, but yeah. That's what I want to see. Come on. Come on now.
I asked her to play with confidence. She obviously listens to SportsBeat. Because her performance in this game was much better. She pitched for 5 innings and the final 2 as well, only allowing 1 run, 4 hits, and she had 6 strikeouts across her innings. So Ohio came back to split the second day of the weekend, beating Middle Tennessee 6-3, and then losing to Chattanooga in that rematch, like I said, 3-8. Middle Tennessee game, once again, no errors. Colleen Bear went off on this game as well. She went 2 for 3 from the plate, her hits both being homers. So that's 2 runs for herself, obviously, and then adds 3 RBIs. Wild from the plate there. Sophomore Allie Myers owned the pitcher's mound in this game. She pitched all 7, allowed only 3 runs and 5 hits with 5 strikeouts. Middle Tennessee did not let the Bobcats get away with this one easily, though. They struck first, and then later the Bobcats climbed back up to the lead, only trailing by 1 after 2 homers, but the Bobcat defense helped settle this game in the final innings. So really great, well-rounded weekend, well-rounded team, I would say. But this second game against Chattanooga is going to be the only loss of the weekend. Notice my pattern, 3 errors. The pitching was also not consistent. Once again, there's a pattern. Keegan Moore started, but she got pulled after 1 inning. She had 3 hits on her, 3 runs and 2 walks. So Skip comes in after her. Next 3 innings, she has 4 runs, 6 hits, 2 walks, and only 1 strikeout. Living comes in for the final 2 and does a little better with 3 strikeouts. But these patterns, I mean, we can agree when Skip throws consistently, Ohio wins games, and they honestly do them very easily because they're a well-rounded team. Defensively, they're great. Obviously, the whole batting lineup can just pound the ball. But when you see a loss on the record, I hate to say it, but at this point, I feel like we can kind of assume the mound was lacking. Overall, the Bobcats overall this weekend brings the Bobcats to 7-2.
Yeah, a great weekend for the Bobcats. They picked up some huge momentum. Next up, they have the Central Florida Space U Classic featuring some big names. Who's OU eyeing down next week, Kasey?
Yeah, so that's going to be University of Central Florida, who's hosting. They're 9-3 right now. They have big wins on their record, though. Maryland, beating Maryland twice, Mizzou, Northwestern, LSU. They did get beat down by Georgia, understandable. But even a loss in that game is experience that the Bobcats haven't seen. Big teams like that. They have one game against Notre Dame on Friday. The Irish are 7-4 right now. Not as a notable strength of schedule as some of the other teams in this classic, but Notre Dame also started their season with 2 hefty losses from Auburn and BYU. But like I said, these huge teams are just experienced. These huge teams have experienced girls, and they're really just a force to be reckoned with. Saturday morning starts with one game against Charleston Southern, which is clearly considered at the bottom of the pack in this classic. They're 2-9. So at least if things go badly for the Bobcats, it's likely that Charleston South will have done worse. The classic ends with the Penn State Nittany Lions. They are 9-3 and looking really hot with a 4-game win streak. Their big hitter, Allison Oneacre, is Penn State's biggest asset. She has 6 home runs and 16 RBIs in 10 games. .407. So each weekend, each classic is kind of getting consistently a little bit more difficult. But I'm not seeing the Bobcats fall off, and if anything, they're improving.
I mean, you got to really give credit to OU for putting up some incredible numbers over the start of their non-conference schedule, because like they have 2 losses over their first 9 games.
9.
Like 7-2 over the first 9 games is incredible, especially when they've beat their opponents by a combined total of 88-33.
Oh, they put
like
down.
That's 50 runs over their opponents, and 5 of those games they've been batting 400 or better. One of them they were batting 550. Like, this team is, when they're hot, they're hot. Like, we got to continue to, like, keep an eye on this team because they're going to start playing a lot better opponents, and they're going to have a lot of opportunities to show up against some softball teams that we're going to be hearing about when it's World Series time. And I think the Bobcats are going to have the opportunity to really play up to some really good competition.
I want to shout out one player specifically in the lineup, and it's not our former SportsBeat Player of the Week, Belle Hummel. Mikey Living was the number 2 pitcher in the rotation for the last 2 years. She's taken a spot in the batting order this year, and she has posted a .321 batting average, a .958 OPS, and has 7 runs, 9 hits, and a double in 28 at-bats. Just insane production for a two-way player who's putting up a still like pretty solid 5.25 ERA. It's down from previous years, but she's still a two-way player.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been a great start of the season, at least for the softball team. Now keeping it on the diamond, though, for baseball, they just got done with their first weekend series of the year against Murray State. And we kind of talked about it last week that if they were able to take at least one game, it'd be a successful start. How'd the series turn out, Connor?
Well, Jack, we had 3 games across the weekend against Murray State for the Bobcats baseball team, and game 1 was not too great for the Bobcats. I mean, it was a 13-4 loss, and I mean, OU put up a pretty solid performance, 10 hits, 4 runs, not too bad. We got to give a shout out here to 5th-year Will Henson, 2 for 5 at the plate with an RBI and a pair of steals. Which we'll talk about the base running a little bit later. That's going to be a pretty consistent trend that I want to talk about for the Bobcats. But Cameron Boyd and Taylor Harris both also had 2 for 5 days, RBI and a run for each of them. And I mean, they cut the early Murray State put up a really quick couple of runs, and that's going to be a consistent trend for them. But OU was pretty good at cutting that deficit early. Each team gave up 3 errors in game 1, which, I mean, you don't want to see as a Bobcats fan, but, I mean, new head coach, a lot of young players, errors are going to happen. We'll move on to game 2, and game 2 was canceled due to weather.
Of course.
But when game 2 gets canceled due to weather, that means you get a doubleheader, and everybody loves some doubleheader baseball. Game 2, again, an 8-11 loss. They're getting on the board. This is really good. Cameron Boyd leads Ohio with 3 hits. They get a double, a home run, and 2 RBIs. Ethan Stewart, he's a junior. Senior Landon Price, both had substantial pitching outings for the Bobcats. These were guys that came in to relieve the pressure early because, as you can see in my notes, the Bobcats gave up 7 runs in the first inning. And when you dig yourself into a trench of 7 runs in the first inning, you have to get the bats going to try and get yourself out of it. And, I mean, they scored 8, but they're still giving up runs late in the game, and it's just not really what you want to see. I mean, they got runs here and there throughout 2nd through 8th, but it really isn't enough. I mean, you try and get the comeback, but it's not that great. But game 3, here's the big one. Ohio pulls out their first win of the season under head coach Andrew C., 15-13. Like, these guys are getting hot. This is a team full of guys who are not afraid to get their bat on the ball and run the bases. So, taking a look at the big one, Ohio has 15 hits and no errors. Murray State, 14 hits, 2 errors. I mean, this was a very competitive matchup. Murray State would not go quietly in this one. So, Tyler Stack, Jr., he was an offensive force for this one. I mean, 4 hits, a double, 4 RBIs, 2 runs, and 2 stolen bases. Fantastic performance. Grant Wilson, he was 3 for 5 at the plate, 2 doubles, and 2 runs with 3 RBIs. And Evan Lightnauer, freshman, first start on the mound and his first win for Ohio. Great performance from the freshman. 2 innings pitched, 1 strikeout, 3 runs, and 4 hits against 11 batters. Just all around a standout performance, especially when you're a young guy going in against a pretty solid team. I mean, OU had a pretty great chance to steal this last game, and I mean, you get the bullpen leader Chase Keene with 3 strikeouts and AJ Dollemeyer with 2 more. I mean, OU really got the bats going late. I mean, at one point in this game, they were up 12-5. Like, Murray State refused to go quietly. They would put up a bunch of runs late in the game, especially in the 8th. They would get it, like, within 2. OU scored 3 at the top of the 9th. Murray State would score 2 and, like, barely close it out. But, I mean, this was a statement win for the Bobcats, and it's really great to see them, like, set the tone early.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially because Murray State made it to the College World Series last year. I mean, this was a great team. We mentioned last week they lost a lot of players, but not much else has changed, as we can see. So taking that win in your first 3 games against a team like that bodes very well for the Andrew C. era, and I'm excited to see where it kind of keeps going from here.
100%. And you really like to see that there are, like, forms of the Dragon in a bunch of different areas. I mean, you see the bullpen really starting to get cooking, especially in that last game. I mean, despite the early mistakes that we see, but those are very easy things to clean up as the season goes on, But, I mean, the bats and the base running are going to continue to be not just an important trend, but something that is going to really keep OU in a position to make a statement throughout the year. I mean, you got guys that are hitting runs on top of runs every single week, and it's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge win. Some huge momentum they gained. Can they keep it rolling going into this weekend and next week?
Well, they're going to have their work cut out for them because they're facing off against Tennessee Tech. I mean, especially after a big win over Murray State, Tennessee Tech is not going to be a light challenge. They have 4 games against Tech, and they just came off of a 3-game series against a top 25 team, Texas Tech, lost all 3 games to Texas Tech, and, I mean, with what Tennessee is returning, they're going to give the Bobcats their work, to say the least. I mean, they've got two guys that are really going to be ones to keep an eye out for, Owen Lee and Reese McDuffie. So Owen Lee had 9 home runs last season and drove in over 36 runs for Tennessee Tech. Like, this dude is a force at the plate. And then you've got Reese McDuffie, one of the, arguably one of the most interesting, mid-major closers that you can see. I mean, 54 and almost 54 and a half innings pitched, and he's limited his batters to just about 250, and he's allowed 19 earned runs, and he's only walked in 6. In 2025, he posted a 3.13 ERA and had a registered of 4.61 strikeouts per 9 innings. Like, this dude is a ridiculous closer, and he is going to give the Bobcats some work. I mean, they're going to have their work cut out for him, but I think if they get the bats going, we could see some serious force.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's what I would love to see. Take that momentum, keep it rolling going into the next few games they have. But with that, we'll move into our quick hits segment where we give a spotlight to some other OU sports with a quick little headline. So in Ohio women's track and field, the major story was that Ohio had 3 sprinters placed inside the top 10 at the indoor mile at the Heartland Invitational in Indianapolis. Headlined by junior Ellie Greenwell's 4-minute, 48-second mile was the 6th fastest at the Heartland Invitational meet and was the 2nd fastest indoor mile run in the history of track and field. A 4-minute, 48-second mile. Also, Emily Bauman placed 2nd in the pole vault with a 3.66 meter jump, which, because we're Americans, we use the customary system. That's about 12 feet. So that is huge for a pole jump there.
Freedom units, Jack.
Freedom units. I don't know what a meter is.
I'll go next. Number 2, Ohio hockey split their final 2 home games of the regular season, beating number 6 Liberty 2-1 on Friday, with goaltender Scott Bird picking up the win against his former team. Saw some great calls by Jake Collins over that game. I mean, it was just beautiful to hear. The Flames would spoil the Bobcats senior night on Saturday with a 3-1 victory, though, giving the Bobcats their only loss at Bird Arena in the entire season. Ohio will be traveling in this upcoming weekend against Liberty. These 2 games on Friday and Saturday will be the final regular season games for both squads.
I have Ohio wrestling losing streak as a team will extend to 5. After the 16-25 loss in Clarion on Sunday, Ohio will return to the Convo for Senior and Military Appreciation Night against Buffalo. This will be the final matchup for Ohio before the MAC tournament in early March.
And finally, women's golf will head to Arizona for the 2026 Rio Verde International this weekend. This is the first event for the squad of 2026, and they haven't competed since late October. But it'll be great for the team to return to the greens, and of course, Arizona is going to be warm. And while I have the mic for a second, I want to shout out Ohio women's basketball, who is now up 32-30 against Akron after an 18-4 second quarter. 4 points for Akron in the second quarter.
There we go. And with that, we'll with that little cap off on that section, we'll move on to our next segment where we'll read and react to some of the biggest news and headlines across all sports within the past week. So we'll start with Sacramento State will join the MAC in football only starting in the upcoming season.
Everyone's just trying not to hold in their rage,
They
trying not
paid
to.
$23 million to join the conference.
Put the camera on Connor.
$18 million goes to the conference itself. The rest into the NCAA for promotion. And then this is just in our notes, so I feel like I need to mention it. Quick reminder: this team's from California.
Yeah, we're putting
Thanks, Jack.
California in the Mid-American Conference,
Yeah.
guys. Right in the middle of California's right in the middle of American.
It's Mid-American, man.
Middle of America is California. Yeah, clearly.
We're on our way to a Big Ten commercial.
No, we're on our way to abolishing the mid-major Division I college football as a whole, and we need to just move to a relegation system because this is a travesty as to what is college football. Because what do you mean Sacramento State tried 3 different times to move from the FCS to the FBS level, and they couldn't do it because the Big 12 had too big of an the Pac-12 had too big of an ego. The Mountain West is ridiculously believing that they're too good for Sacramento State. Here's the real truth, guys. The Mountain West is scared because they're going to get smoked out by Sacramento State anytime they'd play them. And then the MAC was like, "Sure, guys, we'll take you because we need your money, and we'll take your money, and you're paying for an entire conference to fly to California once a year because why not?"
They need that money. They do.
Speaking of money, Sacramento State's entire athletic budget is only $11 million a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 300% of the football budget is going.
No, not just the football budget, the entire athletic budget.
No. 300% of the football budget is being used next year to pay for just the accommodations and getting teams to play.
They have
them.
They have to do all their own flights too.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I don't.
This is ridiculous.
I mean, like, I get they're throwing money and they kind of want to move, but the MAC.
They're paying their athletes NIL and meal swipes at this point. It's
Yeah. Hey, Sacramento State, Nelson Dining Hall closes at about 10:30. You better get those meal swipes ready, guys.
With that, JT Toppin will miss the rest of the season with an ACL injury as Texas Tech is currently ranked 13th.
I didn't even know this.
yeah, it's devastating.
That is
Oh my gosh.
horrible for them.
Toppin's been like a player of the year candidate. I think obviously Cameron Boozer's going to run away with it, especially now. But 21-10 this year, reigning SEC player of the year, and Texas Tech's like fulcrum offensively and defensively. This is still a really talented team. I think they will manage to stay ranked despite this. Christian Anderson is a superstar. Lawan Watts is finding his stride, and Donovan Atwell just doesn't miss from three. But you got to think about it from Texas Tech's future. It's a big grim given just the fact that he's down for the season with an injury. But this was a team probably prepared to make him the highest paid player in college basketball. Now you've got an ACL tear to deal with, and
I'm just thinking about the overtime win versus number 1 Arizona on Valentine's Day. I mean, he was ridiculous in that game. He was getting offensive board after offensive board.
God,
It was like the ball was attracted to his hands, and every single time he got it, he was going to throw it into the hoop. It was so much fun to watch him. I am crushed by that, actually.
I'm at least glad that you were thinking of it in a more positive light because my brain kind of went to the fact of an ACL in basketball, like an ACL injury is already bad,
Yeah.
but to have an ACL injury at 20,
Yeah.
it does, like, and obviously we've seen players come back from ACLs and they'll be fine, they'll recover, but that at least puts a few thoughts into my head into, like, will this affect how he plays at all, whether it be physically or mentally now?
yeah. And it's just a travesty. We've seen a couple like really good players go down with ACL injuries. Richie Saunders for BYU also down with an ACL, out for the season. He's going to miss the rest of his college career. It's heartbreaking.
We'll move on as Tyler Reddick lifts Michael Jordan's racing team to Daytona 500 win. Michael Jordan's NASCAR team won the 68th Daytona 500, which is the season opener for the NASCAR season and the highest paid race. Jordan's driver, Tyler Reddick, completed a last lap pass to win, and Jordan adds another trophy to his collection. For Reddick, it's his first Daytona 500 victory after he went winless last kind of season. I mean, what do we think about that? The Michael Jordan... I thank you, Jake Collins, for how about the go to the 90s adding another trophy? How do we feel about that?
That 90s is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. No, I mean, it's cool to see Tyler Reddick have a bit of a redemption story after having a winless 2025 and then, kick your year off with a win at the 500 of all things is pretty sweet. I mean, it's very interesting to see the splash that Jordan has had on racing because there was the controversy a little while back with his team making a splash in NASCAR. So it's going to be interesting to see how Reddick continues to compete throughout the year, especially because if I'm not mistaken, there was a pretty big crash at the end of the race, right?
Last lap saw multiple crashes, but they kept it going, and he was able to get through and take the win from their racing team, which is just huge.
Yeah. And cemented himself as a better owner in racing than he did in basketball.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And now the Hornets are on a dynasty run.
Come on.
Thank you for that.
Karma, isn't it?
We'll move on as Trinidad Chambliss is back. After filing an appeal, he was granted his 6th year of eligibility in college football.
I was hoping he wouldn't get it just because I'm a Steelers fan and I wanted to get some good value for him in the draft. No, I'm just kidding. But Trinidad, good for him. I did see it was like something about Division II, and it was like if you play like one snap in Division II, you automatically lose your medical red shirt for like the whole year or something like that. So I think it had something to do with that. But I love watching him play. He's such a fun QB to watch.
Yeah, he was really cooking at Ole Miss this last year, and it's going to be interesting to see him run it back one last time, to say the least.
And with a full year under that new head coach as well. Yeah.
My only question is, where's Parker Navarro's 7th year? Come on,
I was
NCAA.
thinking that too.
See, there you go. Now you're asking the real questions. But now we're going to shift worldwide, moving away from Read and React. The U.S. sits at 3rd in the Olympics. Connor, how did Team USA's week go?
You know, the U.S. is looking really good over the past week. They are currently sitting behind Norway and Italy in the medal count. They're leading in silver medals, which is awesome. But there have been a lot of headlines from across the Olympics this past week. I mean, we've got new sports kicking off. We've got hockey and a bunch of big names that have kind of shocked the world a little bit. So we'll kick it off with figure skating because, I mean, Ila Manlin fell on back-to-back moves and finished in 8th place in the free skate, and then Amber Glenn finishing in 13th after a pretty rough performance to end her night. I mean, we have to ask, like, what is going on with the U.S. figure skating team? I mean, this was a group of individuals who came in as heavy favorites. And, I mean, is it cracking under the pressure, or do you guys think it's something else?
I've heard that the ice is bad.
The ice is indeed bad. You got the speed skating, and you can see water flying up onto the cameras on the ice. That's not good. It's soft, and it impacts your ability to make your landings. It impacts your ability to get lift off the ice. Potential controversy to look into.
We're used to good facilities here. That's the issue. It's Italy's fault.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's partially that. I do think some of it is maybe just pressure. I mean, we're moving on now. We're sitting in 3rd. Like a medal there would be huge, and I think that you just throw that in with rough kind of poor ice quality, and I feel like it's just hurting everybody, kind of shaking everybody up a little bit.
Now, I didn't get to see Amber Glenn's performance, but I did see Ila Manlin and Alyssa Liu. And Alyssa Liu right now is in 3rd, and she has a chance to win the gold medal tomorrow. I think the biggest difference I see is whenever I see Alyssa Liu talk about going out to perform, she talks about how there's no stress on her mind. She is completely at ease because this is like what she has been working so hard to do, to go out there and perform and show everybody what she's been doing. Meanwhile, Ilya, he says that right before his catastrophic go, that he was flashing back on like everything horrible that has happened in his mind up to that point. It's like, I feel like a lot of it is a mental game, and both of these are young skaters. So it's like they got time, but you can see one, really good mindset versus, maybe a troubled one.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. I mean, these are incredible skaters. And the nice thing is, with such quote-unquote youth in their career, there will be hopefully another Winter Olympics where we can see Ila and Amber kind of make their return and hopefully bring back some nice shiny golds for the U.S. But moving to another pretty interesting ice headline, the women's hockey team is 1 game away from Olympic gold. I mean, they beat the Canadian team 5-0 in prelims and, like, cooked pretty much the entirety of the tournament so far. They'll play Canada again in the gold medal match. I mean, this is pretty much the opportunity for the U.S. to make a fantastic statement in hockey. And as the notes of Jake Collins have stated, Athens resident Gwen Phillips could be the first athlete from Athens, Ohio to win a gold medal. He says he has put to name a street in a day after her. I think that'd be pretty sweet.
Wow.
My bad. I fully agree. It'd be
professional. Sorry.
I don't want to hear it, man. I'm in podcasting class.
I mean, USA's given up 1 goal with Gwen Phillips in the net, and it's absurd.
It really is. I mean, especially with the amount of pressure that you have to face as a goalie, the constant barrage, and to only give up, like, to be almost 100% perfect through the entirety of one of the biggest hockey events in the world is an incredible statement.
Name a street after her. Name State Street after her.
Name a
Rename Court
Mill
Street.
Fest after her.
Phillips Fest. Okay,
That's good.
Hold on,
It's
that's
got
got a
a
ring
ring.
to it.
There we go.
There we go.
And one more hockey headline for the people. The U.S. and Sweden had their quarterfinals, and I mean, just an incredible game. So Sweden had Mika Zibanejad tied it with about 90 seconds left to make it 1-1. And the U.S. had Quinn Hughes answer in overtime with a massive goal and will advance to play Slovakia, who has been just like terrific this year. So the winner will play Finland or Canada in the gold medal match, and it's gonna be pretty sweet.
I would love to take both men's and women's ice hockey to take gold in both of them.
Two hockey golds would be absolutely incredible.
I'm not sure if you saw today, but Canada and Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia played yesterday, I think, and then they took Canada to OT 3-2. Canada won or something like that.
They almost choked.
Yeah, and they were 8th seed. Like I was honestly kind of impressed by that.
This really could be anyone's year for the men's hockey. And one last pretty big headline that I wanted to sneak in here. There has been a pretty massive controversy at the Olympic stage. This is not a U.S. controversy, as the men's curling team is currently praying for a way into the semifinals, but the top two teams in curling are currently going at it, as the Canadian and Swiss curling teams have been caught up in a little bit of controversy. So for context, the Canadian team has been accused of cheating, and the Swiss broadcast team has set up an entire second camera to catch them in the act. And is like, they created a whole policy to catch them. It's been a ridiculous trend, and as we move towards the end of the curling matchups, it's just going to continue to be something to watch out for, because there was a flurry of swearing and unsportsmanlike gestures that were tossed around across the ice between these two teams, and it's just been insane.
They were not playing around about it. That you are playing as cleanly as you can, or we're going to have some words. And whether they cheated or not, they had some words.
They sure did.
It was a very, very funny little clip of all that happening, because it's just immediately, you're cheating. No, we're not. Swearing. There was no it didn't spike up to that.
They take it seriously.
Oh yeah.
Always.
It was like a playground fight. Honestly, it was just, you're cheating. No, you are. Immediately right into it. I think I saw that like 3 times in elementary school. Like I saw that exact same thing
You get
happen.
flashbacks?
I got flashbacks right now.
They did catch the poke in 4K. There's
did.
no denying
Dude,
that.
They
it
did.
was clear as day. He was like, nope.
And that does a lot. Like you would think that just like the one little finger push is not that much. From what I have understood about it, that little poke that the Canadian team has been able to get away with can move that rock like at least 6 feet in any direction, and can do some ridiculous movement to help that team win.
It's a pretty frictionless surface, ice, famously.
Yeah.
So you gotta watch for that.
Science. It's incredible.
And with that, we'll transition into the NBA. The Cavs have had a break this past weekend, except for the All-Stars, but they've got a couple great games coming up. Steven,
Yes.
what's going on in the land?
Let's go. I mean, this break, it's been too long. I miss NBA basketball so long, I've been missing it for so long. And luckily we've had, some great college games to fill in for the break. The dunk contest it happened.
It was
I
a
would
dunk
say.
contest.
It was a dunk contest. It might be the last one.
Hopefully.
But, the Cavs are, they're going to make it happen on this stretch run, I think. And it needs to happen on this stretch run for them. Gaining momentum for the postseason is so important for this team. They got the Nets, who will probably be attempting to lose this game, as it's 25% of the league right now, in preparation for maybe the best draft class ever. But the next stretch of games is where things heat up for the Cavs. We've already talked about it. The amazing Charlotte Hornets. Since the Cavs have beat them in late January, they won 10 of their next 11 games going into All-Star break. Their only loss to the number 1 seeded Detroit Pistons, a young and scary team there. February 22nd, 2 days later at the Thunder. And the last time these two met, the Cavs were abysmal. It was a tough game to watch on MLK Day. And but with the new additions, can we get them back? I mean, it might be time that we get a little reminiscent of last year. I remember I was at that game when we beat the Thunder. Thought we were gonna win it all. Obviously, Halliburton happened. Home versus the Knicks on the 24th. An opportunity to show the world that the Cavs are the real contenders to come out of the East. Obviously, Pistons #1 seed. I think a lot of people still see the Knicks as the real true contender in the East, though. But I think the Cavs can really show why it is them. And then you have the Bucks, and then the Pistons a couple days later. So just a fun stretch of really competitive games here. And my thoughts is this is why the Cavs got James Harden. He can endure these tough stretches of games physically. I mean, I saw a stat somewhere. He's played like 91.7% of his games coming back from his ACL tear in 2018 or something like that. That's just unreal. I mean, he has been so durable. And the Cavs, they shouldn't feel like the world is on fire if they lose these next couple of games. This team just got reconstructed. They just won an All-Star break. And, I do believe that Harden and D-Mitch, they shouldn't have any problems clicking, but it might take, a couple quarters like we saw the first time. But I'm very excited to watch Keon Ellis play basketball again. He is just so fantastic. So much fun to watch on defense. But my question for the table for you guys is, what will be the most important factor in order for the Cavs to come out of the East?
Evan Mobley, 100%. I mean, coming off the injury and taking some time off, working him into the rotation and seeing how Evan is going to be a factor on both sides of the floor, especially with the offense as it's been performing so far, I'm excited. I mean, we watched Jared Allen go from I'm going to drop 10, 15 points consistently, I'll go off for 40 every once in a while. James Harden steps in. He's averaging 22 and 13. This is ridiculous amounts of efficiency.
And he's missed -2 shots.
He is shooting some of the best we've seen efficiency-wise since black and white film was shot for NBA games. And if we can get Evan Mobley to start working like that with James Harden, the only thing that's stopping the Cavs is the Oklahoma City Thunder's voodoo magic and million pick vault.
I mean, I don't know about you. I was also going to say Evan Mobley, but more specifically how he clicks with James Harden. Because like you said, they brought James Harden in with the promise of he's going to elevate the bigs. That's what he does. And then in that first game, he elevated the big, the one. Now you throw a second one in there, and I mean, this team is looking like, with the new additions, they're going to get very hot, very fast. And I mean, that's what I need. Like you said, they've got a tough stretch coming up, but honestly, I think if they just stay calm through it, kind of play their style of basketball, I think they can at least give, the Thunder, all that, a run for their money. Now, it's time to pick our favorite underdogs of the week. You know what time it is. It's Upset Watch. We went 0-4 last week. Haven't gotten a correct pick in the last 3. We went 11 of 56 in 2025, and then 3 of 20 in 2026. That's rough. So we'll start. We'll start with you, Kasey.
I always go first. Okay. I have Miami 21-5 to upset number 14 Virginia 22-3 this Saturday. Virginia barely pulled away from OSU. That was my pick last week. I think they beat them by 3. Virginia dropped 4 spots. ESPN matchup predictor has it as 74.5 to 35, so 49-ish favoring UVA.
All right, we'll move Steven.
I got VCU over and at number 18 St. Louis, 76.4% to win on ESPN. VCU has won their past 5 games. They're 12-2 in the A-10. They also have only lost 2 of their 6 losses on the road.
Logan?
I have Indiana over Purdue this Sunday.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm missing, but ESPN has this as an 80.9% chance to win for Purdue when Indiana actually took the win in these two teams' first matchups. And I just want to shout out Lamar Wilkerson. He's averaging 21 points per game for Indiana this year. Had his second 40 bomb of the season last Monday against Oregon. He has over 20 in 6 of his last 7 games. You got to stop him first, and I don't know if Purdue has what it takes to stop him as the sky has kind of fallen apart. They're 4-3 in their last 7.
And we'll wrap up Upset Watch with you, Connor.
All right, I'm gonna put the people on to something a little new. There is a new Olympic sport that is dropping tomorrow. Ski mountaineering. It's a mix of uphill skiing, a short sprint, not with the skis, and then you put the skis back on and do a mixed uphill downhill sprint. The whole event is performed in just under 3 minutes for each heat. It's 2 heats and a medal match. I think the USA is about to shock the world. This is the first time it will ever be performed at the Olympics, and I've got Cameron Smith to upset the world.
I know about
Is that within the rules?
Absolutely
Okay.
it is.
I know about 15 crazy uncles that would be great at this sport.
And the funny thing is we can't argue that this is even an upset.
Yeah.
No, okay. So on the betting odds, Oriol Cardona of Spain is the projected favorite to take gold. He's got the best odds in terms of betting. Cameron Smith is not listed on the betting odds as far as I have found. I am taking him to just smoke everybody in the greatest upset we've ever seen.
That's the best part. Not only is it new sport, but it is also actually an Upset Watch pick.
You can bet on anything, guys.
Our game of the week is Ohio softball set to take on the Central Florida Knights, the host of the Space U Classic, where UCF is the best team in this invitational with a 9-3 record. We'll move on to our Player of the Week award. Player of the Week is softball infielder Colleen Bear, accumulating 6 hits on 11 at-bats with 2 home runs, 4 runs, 4 RBIs, and was walked twice. We believe she was the star of the Chattanooga Classic. That'll do it for our show this week. Thank you for listening to SportsBeat on WOUB. I'm your host, Jack Zwiezinski. With me today,
Logan Adams.
Conor Mallonn.
Kasey Hill.
Stephen Koroly.
you can listen to us on WOUB 1340 AM radio or search us online at woub.org/listen or WOUB Public Media's digital accounts on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Don't forget, you can follow us on Instagram at SportsBeatWOUB for more digital content, and we'll see you next week. This has been SportsBeat.